Hello folks, and welcome to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. Quick question for you. How can you tell when you're getting old? Well, the answer is when your old primary school is scheduled for demolition. You join me here today in Lower Ince in Wigan, which is where I used to live, and behind me is my old primary school, Britannia Bridge, which is scheduled for demolition pretty soon. So I thought, before the old girl disappears to the wrecking ball, we'd come and we'd take a little look at it. So here we are at the front of Britannia Bridge County Primary School, as it used to be known back when Mr H was here. There's where the sign would have been. It's been removed now because although this school's going to be demolished, the name of Britannia Bridge will live on, because they've built a new school just down the road, I believe. Now you've got the entranceway there, boys, girls, and then infants at the far end. Now although that sign there says school entrance, and you've got infants above it there, this wasn't the entranceway when I was here. Basically these was the posh entrances at the front of the school. You know, these would have been for the staff and the kitchen staff and that, and probably used as fire exits. You know, you had to enter around the back, which I'll show you in a bit. I'm surprised they've not took that mural down and, you know, relocated it to the new school. Then again, you can't keep everything, can you? Now, a little interesting thing that I've never noticed, I've only just noticed it, you know, all the time I've come to this school and lived in Lower Ince, but above the entranceway there, you can probably just make out two little circles and then like a middle keystone. Well, either side of the keystone, indeed on all the three of these entrances, those are roses, which would have represented Lancashire at the time, because Wigan, when this school was built, was in Lancashire. So, a little bit of architectural bits and pieces in that you don't notice as a kid. Amazing, really. And you can probably just see that entranceway there, the same things over that one. When they do come and demolish this school, I might come down and try and get one of those stones. After all, I paid in lots of 10 pences through school fund over, or my mother did, my late mother. You know, we should all come down, all ex-pupils, and ask for a brick, what we've paid for. These entranceways wasn't being used when I was here. I was here between 1978 and 1985. Like I said, this was the posh entrance that you would come into. Behind that gate there's where the kitchens were located, and in between them two entranceways was where the headmistress's office was, which was Isabel Melville when I was here. I think she was longest serving headmaster of this school. I'm sure somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. There'd be classrooms at either end. That one was Mrs Johnson's, Infant 3 when I was here. There was none of this Year 1, Year 2 rubbish. It was Infant 1, 2, 3, Juniors 1 through to 4. And that one there would have been Junior 2. It's such a shame really to see it all boarded up and know that it's going to be demolished pretty soon. But when you take a look at the new school that's been built just down the road, which I'm not going to film because it's not a good idea really, having a camera and going around filming schools, is it? You realise that this building is tired and dated. I mean, it was built in 1908 apparently, and you know, it closed in about 2008, 2010, so it served the people of Ince well for over 100 years. So it is time for a change really. Now this cobbled street here that's in front of the school is called Parliament Street, and this is where all the school teachers would be parked up, you know, in all those cars from the 80s, the Vauxhall Vivas, the Peugeot Talbots and all them. This is where they'd park. Probably be here late as well if they'd got the call from Ofsted. So we'll take a look around this corner now and make our way to the kiddies entrance. Again there, that would have been the end of Infant 3 classroom, and then Infant 2 was next door to it. And that bit there behind the fence, that would have been the main hall. It's all locked up today, you can't get in. I mean, these gates here aren't the original gates. Now back in the day, kids would have made their way up from Harvey Street there, down this little bit of a road and through these gates. As I said, these gates here are not original. This wall here used to extend past the school and all the way down. It's sort of annexed this little bit of road here at the side of this house. and made it part of the schoolyard. Looking at it beyond, it looks like some porta cabins have been removed, so it does look like demolition will happen pretty soon. The last time I was in here would have been polling day when I used to live in Lower Ince. I've moved away since, and that hallway was sort of a polling station for this area. It always meant you got Thursdays off when it was voting day. I would love to get in there again and take one last look round, but sadly, as you can see, it's all locked up. And there's a council official there wondering what the hell I'm doing. So we'll make our way back round and we'll have a little chat about my old school days. So here we are, we're back at the front entrance of the school. And as I say, I used to attend this school between 1978 and 1985, and it was a different world back then. You know, there was no such thing as health and safety. They still had outside toilets here, as I remember. And, you know, there was things there like an oil tank in middle of the yard, and even a slop bin where you used to put out pig swill. You know, and it was just there open, all flies buzzing round it outside the classroom. You just wouldn't get that today, would you? But I think it made us better people, really, thinking about it, you know. Of course, you was told not to go near it, but you always did as a kid. So yeah, like I say, I've had some many happy memories here, as I'm sure many other Ince kids have. I'm saying Ince kids, they're Ince adults now, aren't they? I'm sure some of you out there have even sent your own kids to this building. You know, but yeah, it's sad to see it go, really. But as I said earlier, you know, the new school down the road, it does look good. It looks more impressive. I dare say it's got all the mod cons in it. You know, this was an old Victorian school built for the Victorian era. So times are changing, times move on. Like I say, I must admit, I was a little bit sad though when I heard it was going, because simply, when you reach middle age like I am, it makes you aware that you're getting older yourself. This classroom here was Junior 2 when I was here. Mrs Fernley's class. And then we'll move on to one of my favourite teachers. A woman by the name of Mrs Johnson. She's still around, I believe. I've seen her a few times knocking about, so she's still with us. And she was located in this classroom here. She was over infant 3, and she was sort of your last infant teacher. You moved up to juniors then, so you sort of went over to the other side of Britannia Bridge School, because it's sort of split into two halves, this school, half for infants and half for juniors, or it was back when I came here. And Mrs Johnson, by that point, she couldn't use any, you know, smacking your bottom or anything like that, or rattling your legs. You know, it was frowned upon. They had the cane still, but they couldn't use it. You know, it was just there as a visual deterrent. So what they started doing, they started using mind games, which was worse than getting a crack across back of head, really. Because what they would do, they would come in and they'd say something like this, you know, some minor transgression had happened, somebody dropped a crisp packet, or, you know, pulled loo roll out or something like that, left tap running in toilets, and she'd come in and say something like this: "One boy in this room has left the tap running in the boys' toilets. That boy knows who he is. That boy wants to crawl under the table with shame. That boy's feeling really unpleasant about himself now. Yes, it's you, isn't it, Mr H?" type of thing. They would use all them sort of games on you. You know, but I suppose it was better than getting 6 of the best. I actually have a photo somewhere of myself in this classroom, dressed up, as I was one of the 3 kings at the school nativity play at the time. And they blacked us up. I mean, it's totally un-PC now, but it was all blacked up, you know, looking like something from black and white minstrels. But it was quite acceptable back in them days. I'll try and scan that and sort of put it in for you. I don't know, because I don't have a scanner anymore, so maybe I can't. It's a shame, really, as I can't get in here and go through all the old classrooms, because I can remember them just like it was yesterday, really. Yes, a lot of memories here. A lot of memories. I mean, here would be behind me would be where the kitchens was, and they used to prepare all the food on site. You know, they didn't bring it in. Across the other side of the field, the nursery used to be there, which was sort of, your educational path was pretty straightforward if you was in Lower Ince. You know, you'd go to the nursery, which was on the other side. Then you come here to Britannia Bridge, and then you go up to Rose Bridge in Lower Ince. Now, these schools all got the names from the canal bridges that was not far away from here. You know, you've got Britannia Bridge, which is just down the road, and obviously the next lock up, that's Rose Bridge. A bit shame really, I didn't enjoy my high school years. I enjoyed my primary school years more than my high school. You know, if that was me at Wrecking Ball, Rose Bridge, I wouldn't be up there filming it, you know, with a bit of a tear in my eye. But yeah, I'm sorry to see the old girl go. But nothing lasts forever, does it? Nothing lasts forever. I'm sure a few, you know, boys and girls that I went to school with have already sent their own kids here. I'm a bit of a late bloomer in that respect. What we'll have to do, we'll have to get the extender pole out and see if we can see over the fence, because they've sort of made it so you can't see in. But there's nothing stopping you filming from a public street, which this is. Yeah, you can't see in there now. I've blocked all that off. Right then, I'll nip back to the car and I'll get the extender pole and we'll see what we can see of the schoolyard, shall we? Right folks, we've got the extender pole all set up and we're going to try and have a look over this fence behind me, because as you can see, they've put some like netting tarp stuff over it to stop people looking in, you know, and give it a bit of privacy when it was a school. So we'll get the camera on the top of the Mr H extender pole and we'll take a look in the yard. So as you can see, demolition has already started in a little minor capacity, because there were some porter cabins there. You could probably just see the blocks underneath them that used to support them. Those have been removed. Now when I was here, that was like an old prefab RAF type building, you know, with asbestos roof. Asbestos roof, probably bloody asbestos piping in there as well. You know, it's a wonder our generation is still alive. All bloody crap we used to eat and all asbestos that there was in buildings, but there you go. Shame to see the old schoolyard in that state. I remember the caretaker, Mr McGowan, little fellow with a limp. He used to keep that yard spotless. He really did, but there we go. Like I say, nothing lasts forever, does it? So folks, that brings us to the end of this little nostalgic look and trip down memory lane for Mr H at his old primary school. Very soon, the scene behind me will just be an empty vacant lot. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed having a little look round. It's brought back a few memories for me. And until the next time, it's 2468. Who do we appreciate? Britannia Bridge. Bye bye for now.